Ken Forkish, Flour, Water, Salt, Yeast, The Fundamentals of Artisan Bread and Pizza, a Cookbook. Embark on a journey to mastering the art of artisan bread and pizza with Ken Forkish's Flour, Water, Salt, Yeast, The Fundamentals of Artisan Bread and Pizza, a Cookbook. Discover how Forkish, a former tech professional, reinvented himself as a respected baker known for his attention to detail and artisanal approach. This summary aims to break down and simplify the various aspects of creating a delicious, well-textured loaf of bread at home, delving into the roles that ingredients, time, and temperature play in the baking process. Additionally, readers will learn how to create and maintain their Levain culture, adapt their home kitchen for optimal bread making, and branch out into making pizza and focaccia.
From tech whiz to master baker, Ken Forkish transformed his life by switching from a career in technology to pursuing his passion for baking. Despite the challenges, he found success by combining his perfectionism and attention to detail with a genuine love for the craft. Today, he runs Ken's Artisan Bakery in Portland and shares his secrets to making great quality bread at home, without the need for an early morning grind. Shifting from a bustling career in the tech industry, Ken Forkish left behind his suit and tie to fully embrace the world of artisanal baking. Now at the helm of his successful Ken's Artisan Bakery in Portland, his passion and perfectionism shine through and show that a career change can lead to a fulfilling life. Back in 1995, Forkish was knee-deep in the tech business. However, a magazine article about Lionel Poulain, a Parisian baker revered for his return to traditional bread making, changed his life's trajectory. Inspired, Forkish joined the Bread Bakers Guild of America and took a course at the San Francisco Baking Institute. Pursuing excellence, he studied with numerous pros to emulate the best French boulangeries and finally settled in Portland, Oregon, a foodie heaven perfect for his artisanal aspirations. Ken's Artisan Bakery has not only flourished but also expanded, with Forkish now running a pizza place too. His dedication to detail and a passionate, even obsessive focus on the art of baking played a significant role in his success. Yet, it's not just the professionals who can achieve high-quality bread. In fact, baking beautiful loaves in the comfort of your own kitchen doesn't require Forkish's demanding schedule. To create great bread at home, it's crucial to go beyond following a recipe and grasp the underlying principles. Through his journey from tech to baking, Ken Forkish proved that harnessing passion, precision, and perseverance can lead to an extraordinary career transformation. By sharing his knowledge, he empowers aspiring home bakers to excel without sacrificing their regular schedules. The art of crafting bread. Crafting the perfect bread involves skillfully balancing 6 elements: flour, water, salt, yeast, time, and temperature. Recognize the power of mastering these variables, as it allows for an endless variety of delightful breads. Time and temperature share an inverse relationship, where adjusting one affects the other. Flour comes in various forms, each affecting the dough's texture and flavor. Wet doughs lead to lighter, more complex taste profiles. Feel free to experiment with flour blends while managing other ingredients like water and yeast, which can be altered to yield different flavors and outcomes. Understanding these 6 factors is the secret to success, enabling you to create bread featuring various tastes and textures. Start by becoming familiar with the relationship between time and temperature. Just as in an oven, outside temperatures impact the preparation time for dough, warmer environments speed up the process while cooler ones slow it down. Remember that various flour types, such as rye and spelt, can also be used. Keep in mind that the amount of water incorporated into the mixture determines the dough's wetness. While wet doughs are trickier to shape into loaves, they result in increased gas production, yielding a delightful, airy texture and intricate flavor. Always maintain the same total flour amount while engaging in different combinations for experimentation. Note that whole wheat flour is more absorbent than white flour, and therefore needs a higher water content. Lastly, manipulating the yeast content in synchronization with other ingredients leads to unique methods capable of creating distinct flavors and results. For example, reducing yeast while allowing more time for the dough to develop can lead to a richer taste. Mastering these variables is the key to producing exceptional bread that caters to your specific preferences and desires. Equip your baking arsenal. Don't let professional kitchen envy get you down. Your home kitchen can still produce high-quality baked goods by acquiring just a few essential tools. Start with an oven thermometer to ensure accurate temperature readings and a Dutch oven to mimic the steam environment of professional ovens. Add a pizza stone, large round tub for dough mixing and rising, transparent smaller tubs for Levain culture or pre-ferment, and a proofing basket that matches your Dutch oven size. Invest in a digital kitchen scale and probe thermometer for precise measurements, and don't forget oven mitts and clean tea towels or plastic bags for covering and storing. Ken's Artisan Bakery flaunts its sprawling open kitchen, massive Italian oven, temperature-controlled retarder, and specialized tools. Does this make you feel like your humble home kitchen can't compete? Fear not, because with a handful of essential tools, you can step up your baking game. Start by checking if your oven temperature readings are accurate with a special oven thermometer. Swap out baking tins or stones for an unbeatable Dutch oven, which allows the bread to bake in its own steam, emulating the steamy environment of professional ovens. A 4-quart Dutch oven is ideal, but at times, a 5-quart size will work too. For pizza making, grab a trusty pizza stone. To handle dough, you'll need a large, round tub for mixing and rising, along with some smaller, transparent tubs for storing Levain culture or pre-ferment. A 9-inch diameter proofing basket will be a perfect match for your Dutch oven, aiding the dough's final rise. Upgrade your measurements with a digital kitchen scale, providing more accurate results than measuring by volume. A probe thermometer is essential for maintaining the correct water temperature. Lastly, shield your hands with oven mitts and use clean tea towels or plastic bags to cover your proofing basket and store items in the fridge. With these tools in hand, your home kitchen will produce baked goods that give professional kitchens a run for their money. Unleashing yeast power. Embrace the art of home baking by harnessing the power of yeast cultures, including Levain, Polish, and Baiga. By using these pre-fermented doughs with commercial yeast, you'll access a fascinating world of complex and distinctive flavors in your bread-making pursuits. You might be waiting for instructions on creating a sourdough starter. Well, let's dive into the intriguing world of yeast, the magical ingredient that helps transform flour and water into delectable loaves. Although commercial yeast is an essential part of many recipes, crafting your yeast culture is where the joy of home baking thrives. Instead of sourdough starter, Ken Forkish, an expert in his yeast knowledge, uses the term Levain, borrowed from the French. The secret behind Levain and other pre-fermented cultures is their simplicity and the extraordinary results that make the effort worthwhile. Natural yeast is omnipresent, floating in the air, inhabiting the soil, residing on fruits, and even hiding in flour. Although it takes some coaxing to work its magic, natural yeast contains multiple strains that offer complexity and distinctiveness, unlike commercial yeast's predictability. While using 100% natural yeast primarily appeals to purists, professional bakers, including Forkish, often combine a small amount of commercial yeast with their Levain culture on baking day. The inclusion of this powerful commercial yeast results in a more delicate, airy bread. To step up your game in bread making, use a pre-ferment, a blend of dough prepared the night before baking. A pre-ferment incorporates a tiny portion of commercial yeast, which slowly develops overnight, creating a more intricate taste. There are 2 types of pre-ferments that Forkish recommends, Polish and Baiga. Polish, a French term, describes a wet blend using equal amounts of flour and water. Baiga, an Italian term, employs less water. Both impart unique characteristics to the final product, such as using Baiga for ciabatta, while Polish is common in making baguettes. Now, are you excited to make your Polish, Baiga, or Levain culture? Stay tuned for more on the methods in upcoming summaries. For now, let's explore some fundamental bread-making techniques that will pave the way for your yeast-driven baking adventures. The Breadmaking Blueprint. Bread making, the art of crafting one of humanity's staple foods, follows a general blueprint consisting of autolysis and mixing steps. By understanding the importance of precise ingredient ratios, flour, water, salt, and yeast, as well as the temperature and time, one can create the perfect loaf. This well-rounded knowledge allows for successful experimentation with different flour types and yeast development processes. In the world of bread making, there is a myriad of possible alterations in the ratio of ingredients, including flour, water, salt, yeast, temperature, and time. Varying the mixture of flours and yeast development techniques can produce different results, but there is one universal method to remember, a blueprint, if you will. Start with autolysis. Gather around 1 kilogram of flour in your desired mixture and 75% of water, approximately 750 g or 600 g for Levain bread, heated to about 90 degrees Fahrenheit 32 degrees Celsius. Combine these ingredients in a tub, making sure to adjust the water quantity depending on the flour type. Mix until combined, cover, and leave it to rest for 20 to 30 minutes. However, if you're employing a boules or bouille containing most of the flour, abstain from autolysis. Once the autolysis phase is complete, you'll proceed to mixing. Introduce 20-22 g of salt in your choice of dried yeast or pre-ferment, Levain culture, depending on the method. The yeast quantity varies depending on whether you're using a pre-ferment or Levain, 3-4 g, or if you prefer to ferment overnight, 0.8 g. For boules or bouille, add an extra 2-3 g of yeast, while 2 g may be added at this stage of the Levain route. However, to remain a purist Levain, add none. For Levain bread, incorporate 360 g of culture to reach a total of 200 g of flour, rounding out the 1 kilogram measurement. Dip your hand in warm water and work the mix with a folding motion. After reaching an even consistency, continue blending by gripping large sections with your thumb and forefinger, working the dough until a slight tension appears. Replace the cover on the tub and allow the dough to rest and rise. The fermentation process occurs during this resting stage, typically lasting around 5 hours when using regular yeast. However, if you opt for less yeast, extend the resting period, or even leave it overnight. With this blueprint in mind, you'll master the art of bread making and be able to explore the infinite possibilities of personalized adjustments in flour, water, salt, yeast, temperature, and time. Mastering bread baking steps. Enhance your dough's strength through multiple folding sessions during the initial rise, taking care not to disturb it too much. After the dough has risen, prepare it for proofing by forming it into balls and placing them in well-floured proofing bowls. For instant yeast, allow about an hour to proof or extend the time by refrigerating overnight. With pure Levain mixes, a longer room temperature proof of around 4 hours is necessary. Once the dough springs back slowly and not fully when poked, it is ready to bake in a preheated Dutch oven for 30 minutes with the lid on, followed by 20 minutes or more with the lid off to achieve a dark brown crust. After baking, let the bread rest for at least 20 minutes, ensuring it is surrounded by air for optimal cooling. Levain culture simplified. Crafting a Levain culture may require care and dedication, but it can provide a foundation for homemade bread that will last indefinitely. To create your own Levain culture, follow the day 1 to 5 process of mixing flour and water in different ratios, then maintain it regularly for endless bread baking possibilities. Creating a Levain culture might seem daunting, but with a little effort and patience, you'll soon be rewarded with amazing bread for the foreseeable future. In fact, the author Forkish's own Levain culture has been thriving since 1999. Here's a simple, step-by-step guide to creating and maintaining your very own Levain culture. On day 1, blend equal weights of flour and warm water, 500 g of each should suffice, in a small tub. Mix it manually and leave it uncovered for a few hours before covering it and placing it somewhere warm. You have the flexibility to use any type of flour. Day 2 arrives with a straightforward task: discard 3/4 of the mix. Add the same quantity of flour and water as the day before, mix well, and leave it uncovered before covering it again. On day 3, the mix should have doubled in size, giving off an alcoholic aroma. Repeat the actions from day 2, disposing of 3/4 of the mixture once again. As day 4 dawns, your mix should have expanded similarly to the previous day. This time, however, discard more of it, leaving only a couple 100 grams. Add the same amount of flour and water as on previous days, cover, and let it rest. When day 5 rolls around, perform the actions from day 4, but retain even less of the blend this time. Add the usual amount of flour, but ensure you use a 4:1 ratio of white to whole wheat flour. Also, add slightly less water, at a marginally lower temperature. Mix, cover, and let it rest. By the afternoon, your Levain culture will be ready to use. Beyond day 5, you can maintain your mature Levain culture by continuing to feed it daily or storing it in the refrigerator for up to a month if you need a break. From this point forward, use the same flour and water ratios as on day 5 and a little less Levain culture. With this well-nurtured starter, you'll be able to bake delightful bread whenever you desire. Unleash your bread-making creativity. Baking bread is a perfect blend of science and creativity, allowing bakers to experiment with different techniques and ingredients to create unique signature loaves. There are 4 main bread-making methods: straight doughs with commercial yeast, pre-ferments, levains mixed with commercial yeast, and pure levains. Each technique varies in preparation time, fermentation, and proofing stages. The possibilities are endless, so don't forget to get creative with your bread-making journey. Dive into the wonderful world of bread-making, where science and creativity collide. While following the correct ingredient ratios and methods is crucial, there's ample room to explore and develop your unique style. So, how can you make a loaf truly yours? Read on and immerse yourself in the bread-making process. If you're in a time crunch, straight doughs with commercial yeast are your best bet. Begin at 9:30 in the morning and have a loaf ready for dinner around 5 p.m. Allow the dough to rest for about 5 hours and proof for at least an hour. To switch things up, try adding less yeast and allowing the dough to rise in the fridge overnight, or experiment with increasing the amount of whole wheat flour. Pre-ferments, such as poulish or baiga, need up to 14 hours to ferment before combining with the rest of your dough ingredients. If you have some time the night before, it's easy to manage the process. Pre-ferments typically use at least half of the total flour and require an extra few hours of fermentation and another hour of proofing. If you start your pre-ferment early in the evening, you'll be ready to serve your freshly baked loaf for lunch the next day. When it comes to levains mixed with commercial yeast, patience and planning are key. Work a day ahead of schedule, allowing the dough to proof in the refrigerator overnight. Once your levain is mixed with flour, water, salt, and additional yeast, let it rise for about 5 hours before dividing and placing it in a proofing basket. Bake your delicious creation the following morning. Lastly, pure levains don't require commercial yeast, nor do they need refrigeration. Simply ferment the mix overnight and proof it for approximately 4 hours the following day. Then, your dough is ready to be baked to perfection. Now that you're familiar with 4 bread-making techniques, it's time for the most exciting part: creativity. Experiment with ingredients like caramelized walnuts or sautéed bacon. There are endless possibilities to elevate your loaves from ordinary to extraordinary. Happy baking! Mastering pizza and focaccia. Consider treating yourself to scrumptious pizza and focaccia using the same dough as for a loaf. Shape the dough, make sure to use high-quality ingredients for toppings, and adjust oven temperatures accordingly. Let your imagination run wild with various delectable flavor combinations. Have you ever felt guilty about using a whole kilo of flour for just 2 loaves of bread? Well, there's no need to fret. You can use the same dough to create mouth-watering pizza and focaccia as well. When making a pizza, begin by using around 350 g of dough per pie. After forming the dough into a ball, allow it to proof for up to an hour before chilling it. Shaping the dough is easier when it's cool. Use your fists to gently stretch the dough, achieving a thin, Italian-style pizza base. Don't hesitate to perfect your pizza toss. it helps create an even layer across the entire base. For toppings, choose high-quality ingredients like San Marzano tomatoes from Italy, mozzarella, and fresh basil, but feel free to get creative and personalize each pie. When cooking the pizza, get the oven as hot as possible. Experiment with the broiler setting to achieve the desired high temperature. Monitor your pizza closely, as it should require less than 10 minutes in the oven. Focaccia, a versatile dish, is typically thicker than pizza and offers a wider range of toppings. Cast iron skillets and sheet pans can accommodate its thickness better than a pizza stone. Follow the same foundational method as you would for pizza, but instead of stretching the dough, shape it to fit the skillet or pan. The oven temperature for focaccia doesn't need to be as high as for pizza. Unleash your culinary creativity with focaccia toppings, from classic olive oil and salt, zucchini with pepper and chili flakes, to caramelized onions, olives, and anchovies. The combinations are endless. By using your knowledge of bread dough, you can effortlessly transition from bread making to crafting unique pizza and focaccia creations. Share your newfound skills with friends and family, and they'll be lining up for a taste of your scrumptious homemade treats.
Ken Forkish's Flour Water Salt Yeast equips readers with the knowledge, techniques, and passion needed to create and experiment with artisan bread and pizza in their own kitchens. In this summary, we have explored the keys to a successful loaf of bread, including the roles of ingredients, time, and temperature, and the various types of bread one can make. The book demonstrates that with dedication, proper tools, and an understanding of the principles of bread making, even a home baker can achieve exceptional results. So, whether you're an aspiring baker or simply looking for new ways to elevate your culinary skills, Flour Water Salt Yeast is a valuable resource that will guide you in your journey towards perfecting the art of bread making.